And we're back with episode 33 of Dog Football Weekly. It's your host, Reed, with the co host.
Russ.
And today, Russ, not in person. First episode we'd ever filmed, kind of virtual, away from each other. But, 2 weeks into the season, been busy, but we're back. Tell me just kind of your initial thoughts, initial reactions to what you've seen so far from the Dogs.
Well, initially, we came out a little slow 2 weeks ago, in my opinion. Had to get some stuff sorted out. But obviously, we're getting it together. Mike Bobo is getting used to being the offense coordinator. The quarterbacks are kind of stressing me out a little bit. I like Carson Beck a lot, and I think he played good last game. First game, he's a little shaky, maybe just had a few nerves, but it's looking up for the Dogs this season so far, in my opinion.
I just kind of think, I was excited about Mike Bobo. I thought Mike Bobo was going to do a lot of the same stuff that, Todd Monken did, leaving him with the offense. But, really what you've seen so far has not been encouraging. And there's people out there saying, well, he's holding back. Well, he's holding back. But to me, I really don't know what's in store for this offense. I'm doubtful right now about kind of the versatility and kind of the play calling because what you've seen a lot of is just really kind of generic run dives. You've seen a lot of screen passes, not really a lot of downfield passing attack. You've had some big pass plays, but they've really been broken off just broken runs and broken guys breaking tackles and guys making plays. And I was talking about it tonight with somebody. They said, I said, it's kind of like Georgia's playing offense like they don't have any weapons. So just kind of like, here you go. We can't really throw it deep. We don't have the guys to go get it. And I mean, there's 3 All SEC receivers on that roster. There's a Mackey Award winner at tight end and probably the best backup tight end who would start at just about anywhere else in America. So I mean, it's just kind of like, what are we doing?
I mean, you have Arian Smith, who is a track star, who runs probably like a 4.4.
I think he's in the 4.3s. I mean, his 100 meters like 10. It's low tens.
But I mean, you have guys like that, and I feel like we're just not utilizing them the right way right now. I mean, like you said, a lot of screen passes and not a lot of taking shots, in my opinion.
And he may come out this weekend and say, take this and open it wide open and then just throw the ball all over the field. And if he does, thank God. But I just don't see that happening. I don't see them coming out and just kind of opening a new system up because people I feel like you have to practice some of this stuff at some point if you want it to work. And you can't. I mean, obviously, he's not going to throw everything out there. He's not going to use the trick plays. He's not going to use his, fourth down call. He's not going to use that stuff. But you're going to have to open it up a little bit at some point.
I think a lot of it may have to do with his confidence in his quarterback right now. Also, a lot of the play calling may be for Carson Beck's advantage.
Yeah.
He might not be comfortable throwing certain balls right now, and he's still working on it. And that may be a reason for the play calling.
And there's something else. Somebody talking to him Sunday after after Texas and Alabama played, and they're like, man, I'm glad we don't have that situation at quarterback. I'm glad. And Russ, I'll be honest, we really don't know right now. We don't know what we have at quarterback. Because let's not forget, last week Jalen Milroe had 5 touchdowns in his opening game, and Jalen Milroe, he was the answer. He was the guy. He was, he's going to lead Alabama to a victory against Texas, and then he comes out like that. So, and because Georgia really hadn't had their first test, South Carolina don't really know what they have. They're not strong up front, but they're definitely dangerous if they can put it together. People thought they were going to be a contender this year in the East. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm antsy to see him play.
Well, I was talking to a buddy today at football practice, Will McLean, lifelong Alabama fan. And I was kind of just talking to him about, the recent loss to Texas. And he said, he tried to throw, Georgia's not good, Georgia's not this. And I said, how do you know? I mean, we won't know if Georgia's good until they play a good team, We don't know what Georgia's got right now.
I think Georgia head and shoulders the best team in America as far as talent goes. I think they're head and shoulders the best coach team in America. But there's definitely losable games on the schedule. There's definitely games where it's kind of like, oh, that's going to be tricky. Ole Miss is going to be tricky. Tennessee at Tennessee is going to be tricky. There's games on the schedule that make me kind of like, and in my eyes, like you really can't lose a football game on this schedule because I see it stacking up like you got to win the SEC because Texas's schedule is ridiculously easy from here on out. USC, if they can win out, which they probably will, then you have teams like Florida State, easy schedule. And then what about in Alabama? What if Alabama puts it together and finds a quarterback? Like there's teams, Ohio State and Michigan, Penn State, they look solid. There's so many teams this year that are in it. It's kind of concerning and it's kind of like puts pressure on Georgia.
Well, I agree that with the strength of schedule this year, you have to win every game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't let one go, and it might be tough for the Dogs. And another area that I think the Dogs are kind of struggling in right now is the running back room. I love Kendall Milton and everything, and I think he's a great guy and a great running back. But I'm not really loving how he's performing so far. I just never have really been big on him in the running game. He's kind of this big, slow guy, in my opinion. Who's the other running back?
They're running Roderick Robinson a good bit. Dejon Edwards is hurt right now.
Yeah, Dejon's hurt. Branson's hurt too, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. They're depleted at the position. I mean, you see Dylan Bell running the football, which, by the way, he was absolutely electric on that daggum handoff.
I love Dylan Bell, dude. Hey, don't even get me started. But
I don't blame them completely because, like, the Falcons ran this run play yesterday, which I thought was just absolutely beautiful. It was a counter-type design, but they tossed it. And then your backside guard and tackle just pulled, and Bijan Robinson just split it right up the middle. And it was wide open. And Georgia, like Todd Monken used to be creative. You remember like the fake pass or like the fake flip and then throw? I mean, we're doing none of that. We're just dropping back. And then we run the ball. We don't have any guys pulling. It's just kind of like we're blocking 5-on-7 and we're expecting to win.
Yeah, you even had the little white dude, Cash Jones, score a touchdown last week. I mean, he should never even be touching the field. I mean, I love him or whatever, but he shouldn't be touching the field. But we're so
depleted,
limited at that position that it's ridiculous.
Well, and like let's think back to Mike Bobo's last time as offensive coordinator. He walked out, he left, and his running back was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Todd Gurley. I know he coached Todd Gurley. He had Gurley. I think he had Keith Marshall and Chubb and Michelle. That was his last backfield. And those are 4 NFL backs. So these kind of generic, like, let's just run up the middle. Let's plug it up the middle. Let's run a little, in between the tackles. Because these backs those are 4 guys who started on NFL rosters at one time. Those aren't your typical backs. Kendall Milton is not going to be an NFL back. Dejon Edwards could play. Cash Jones, obviously not. Roderick Robinson, he's just young. I mean, he's an 18-year-old kid plugging in there trying to, make something. But he's going to make freshman mistakes. So I feel like we have to kind of become creative with this running game because a team like South Carolina, are they more talented than Georgia? No. Are they better than Georgia? No. But if Georgia just goes 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out to start a game, you're just giving a team life. You're giving them energy. You're giving them hope. And that's really where Georgia's going to struggle this season. It's not because anybody's better than them, but the teams are going to feed off the success off of it. If they come out and they get a 3 and out, if they come out and get a turnover, if they come out and you drive all the way down the field and you miss a field goal, teams are just going to just get amped up, fired up. I mean, you even saw at Ball State, they missed that field goal, a little chip shot, and they're going crazy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, new kicker, he's
going to learn.
Not the guy we had, but
he's going to be solid.
He's going to be solid. He's got to settle down a little bit, get used to what he's doing. Kicking in for Georgia is not. It's not an easy thing to do, obviously,
So
at
much
any
pressure.
school.
So
But
much pressure. Well,
yeah,
I
a lot of
mean,
pressure on you.
Russ, here's the thing I'd like to ask. Kind of, swiveling off of Georgia, ask you, what are your thoughts on Texas and Alabama, just the game as a whole? And then give me your kind of, outlook for the teams in their seasons.
Well, I only watched about the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
They won by 10, didn't
They
they? It was
did.
by 10 points. So Alabama. I think Jalen Milroe is still their guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's still the guy. He's the other guy's not going to replace him. I can't remember his name.
Uh, you just made me go blank. Tyler Buckner, he's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
transfer,
yeah,
and then there's the freshman Ty Simpson or sophomore now. Excuse me.
yeah. But I think Jalen Milroe's the guy for them. I don't think they're going to lose another game. Saban is known for having great seasons. Obviously, the best college football coach of all time. Maybe not right now, but overall. And they're going to have a good season. They're going to be in the SEC championship, in my opinion. Who's going to beat them? I mean, LSU's no good this year.
Ooh, I wouldn't say it.
They're not.
I
They're
wouldn't
not
say
good.
it.
I'm going to say it. I don't really care. They're
Oh,
not good. Texas, they showed. I mean, what's the quarterback's name?
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers showed poise the whole game. I don't think I saw him make a facial expression. He looked kind of like he was going to cry the whole game.
Looks
But
scary.
he looked like, a seasoned quarterback. Came out throwing. Another guy, A.D. Mitchell from Georgia, transferred. 2 touchdowns, I believe. Just a outstanding guy. I think Texas may go undefeated this year. I'm not sure who's on their schedule, but they're looking scary,
I
especially with the deep ball.
what I think. I'll give you my honest opinion. Do I think Jalen Milroe's still the guy? I think so, just because he is so explosive when he's on. Like when they play to his strengths, and they just let him run that football, and just kind of short little passes, stuff like that, build confidence up. I mean, they're going to be hard to stop because people are like, I heard people talking yesterday, and it's like they don't have any guys. They're not good. The offensive line is pretty good. And they had some success in the first half running the football, but they went away from it. And then when they tried to come back to it later in the game, I mean, that Texas defense was so amped up. You come out and Texas, I mean, it's just like Texas was a little shell shocked in the beginning. They had an early fumble, and Alabama just came out and they just kind of pounded them in the run game. And it was almost like, well, and they just veered away from it through a pick. And then, I mean, you're just giving this team energy and energy. Do I think Alabama is that good this year? I don't. I don't think Alabama wins. I think they win 9 games. I think they lose to Tennessee, and I think they lose to LSU. I don't think this team is good enough to beat those two teams, and I think that here's my just analysis on it. I think in the LSU Florida State game, LSU was obviously up at halftime, and you could say they were kind of in control. They were they were favored to win, but the second half, LSU played their worst half of football I've seen them play, and Florida State did not make a mistake. Now let's go to Texas and Alabama. Texas, let's not forget, they dropped 2 touchdowns. They dropped 2 interceptions. They missed a field goal. I mean, that's 17 points, plus you're probably taking away. I mean, if they play that perfect thing like Florida State did, where Florida State really did not make a mistake in the second half, you're looking at winning by 20,
Yeah,
25, 30 points against a team. And, I felt like Texas was in control the whole game. There was never any doubt from my point of view after they scored. But Alabama, I mean, just on the back end, it was just kind of like the defense played passionate. The defense played kind of like an old Alabama defense did, which was kind of just like mean, angry, fired up. But it was out of control. Like there was no control. They weren't coming up to tackle. They were just coming up to hit. So you'd see these big Texas receivers, guys like Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy. These guys are just bouncing off. And then you fast forward, and Texas has some success running the football, and then you're just like go to sleep on the back end, and then Adonai Mitchell enters, and he just comes in and does that. And I
Yeah,
think that a team like LSU, with as much talent as they have, it's definitely going to be a dogfight, but I think they will pull it out. And I think Tennessee, I mean, Joe Milton, we don't really know about Tennessee right now. You know, played great week 1, week 2. I mean, it looked ugly. It was what 30-13 against Austin Peay, and that just
yeah.
makes me kind of like, ew. But I think that there's no way Alabama they'll win 10 games max, 10 games max, but they're going to lose one of the two, and maybe both. I think they'll lose both. I just don't have a good feeling about this team. But I also think people are kind of overreacting. I saw somebody called into Paul Feinbaum this afternoon, and they said Alabama should move on from Nick Saban and throw all their money at Deion Sanders. I mean, I'm talking a dead serious person from Mobile, Alabama called in. His name was like, I want to say it was Jimbo. That's the name on the screen. Called in. He said that they should throw all their money at Deion Sanders. And let's just think about it. Nick Saban, 7 national championships.
The
Deion
best
Sanders
college
has
football coach of all time.
Deion Sanders has won 2 games at the Power 5 level. He's undefeated. He's undefeated, but he's played a TCU team that I think will go probably 6-6, and a Nebraska team that has been through 5 head coaches in 10 years.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, what Deion's doing at Colorado is unbelievable, and it's very impressive. And it really kind of makes it exciting for the Pac-12 to have so many teams be just kind of in the discussion. But Colorado's not a contender. Colorado's not a team that's going to win 10, 11 games. They might win 6, 7, 8. And if they do, whatever they win is just bonus because they won 1 football game last year. They won a game, not multiple games. So, I mean, it's just like there's paranoia, there's hysteria in the Alabama world right now. People just don't know how to act, because they haven't lost a home football game since, Joe Burrow came to town in 2019. And even then, they played a dogfight. Alabama never gets embarrassed on their home field. This is Nick Saban's first double-digit loss at home since 2003.
yeah,
I think. Maybe it was 2002. I could not tell you. I saw the number the other day, and it was like 7,144 days. I mean, that's a long
yeah.
time.
That's crazy.
And the dynasty's coming to an end. I think everybody could have predicted that. I think Georgia's kind of on the rise, whether they three-peat or not. But there's all this just hysteria around the program. And then you look at the flip side on Texas, and everybody's, Texas is back, Texas is back, Texas is back, which I think is Texas probably one of the top 4 teams in the country? Yes, I think they are. I think they're better than Ohio State. I think that they're right there kind of with Florida State, but we really just don't know a lot about them. We really haven't seen them. We've seen this one major test, and we see what they can be. But there's losable games on that schedule. They still have to play Oklahoma, and Oklahoma looks strong. And I really don't know. I feel like I have a bad feeling they're going to drop a game, but still win the Big 12. And just kind of looking at it from a bigger picture, I'm just kind of like, this playoff race is going to be interesting because I don't think USC can go undefeated. I don't think Oregon will, but I think your Pac-12 champ will have a strong case. Your SEC champ's going to go in. ACC if Florida State wins it, but I mean Clemson's not dead yet. I don't want to rule out Clemson right now, regardless of what everybody's saying. I still have hope for Dabo.
Yeah, well, I'm not big on. I think Dabo's time to go at Clemson, in my opinion. It's the way they've performed so far is just ridiculous for Clemson. I don't really know what happened, but it's just not how you see Clemson perform. On a side note, have you seen the news about Mel Tucker?
I saw that today. I saw that. Actually, I saw it yesterday, but I mean, just crazy. I haven't read into it. I haven't looked at it. I saw that. I saw, Mel Tucker suspended from his job. And then I saw investigation. I just looked up Mel Tucker investigation. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
Mel Tucker.
I read about it. a couple minutes ago, just talking to my dad about it. He was like, "Have you seen what Mel Tucker did?"
Imagine Kirby brought him back to that staff. I mean, you're talking about unbelievable.
Well, I mean, it would be good, but he may never coach football again, and he's losing $80 million.
I mean, he's gonna. I mean, it's just stupid. I saw that and I was like, wow. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just something I just never would think. Like Mel Tucker and a sexual harassment, investigation. That just doesn't go together with me. That like I thought I saw it and I was like, I couldn't even. I was like, what? It's
yeah.
just
Well, I also have a guy we didn't talk about, and I know he was very important because I mean I was at the game on Saturday, and Makai Muse was unbelievable on special teams,
shout out
and
to
we haven't
him.
talked about him yet. So
He added me back on Snapchat. Shout out to Makai Muse. He must know we're big time, but he's. I saw Russ. Remember, we saw him in the spring game, and
yeah,
we said,
like,
I said, who is this guy? And we were both like, this dude is legit. He's going to help out. I mean, Russ. Week 1, he stole the show. Big time touchdown catch, and then we get here week 2, and it's like, what's he going to do? Why are we not playing him on offense? I don't know, because he's one of the most athletic guys on the field. He is incredibly shifty. He looks like Ben Holbert. I mean, he looks like Ben Holbert out there.
He's a walk on to start with. I guess he's probably on scholarship now, but
they better put him on scholarship. They better give him something.
If he's not on scholarship by now, I'm gonna fire Kirby myself.
I mean the punt return, like it's just not like there's just great blocking. Now there was a formation for it, but I mean he made some cuts on that punt return. I was like, I thought there was no way he's going to score, and he just cuts in and out, and it weaves. I mean the guy is shifty.
Yeah, unbelievable athleticism.
I'd hang the ball off to him. I'd run the ball with him.
I think he's a jet sweep guy. Let him try to get around the edge and beat the guys outside because he can do it.
Now we don't do that. We run the halfback draw, halfback dive, 2-man screen, little dump off to Brock Bowers, screen. Let's run another screen. Why don't we? Let's dive it up the middle. Screen. Let's run a pass play that obviously will not be open deep and throw it. I mean, that's what it's like watching. Gosh, like this, I'm scared. I'm not scared about the personnel. I'm not scared about the players. I'm a little worried about Carson Beck, but they're going to be fine. I think he's good enough, and I think I don't know if he's got the it factor that Stetson Bennett had, but that's hard to find. They can still win with it. I'm worried about the play calling. I mean, I am just worried sick about this play calling.
Yeah, me too. It's something to look for and watch as the season goes on, and just see how we change things up or how we show things differently. Something that Bobo doesn't do that. What was the last guy?
Todd Monken.
Todd, I'm so bad with names. Anyway, Todd Monken gave Brock Bowers some like little touch passes around the corner. That's what I want to see this season. I mean, it may be hurting Brock Bowers' draft stock with how they're playing him right now.
I mean, what I want to see is 2 tight end, 3 tight end personnel. I want to see them get creative running the football, and I want to see them run play action and throw the ball to Brock Bowers. I mean, it's not – you have the best – I think you have the best football player in the country as far as just like – I'm not talking about, quarterback or this or that or this or that. I'm talking the best football player in the country. He is the best player in America. I mean, he can block. He can catch the football. He can run the football. I mean, he can do everything on offense, and there's no reason he shouldn't touch it 10 times a game.
I totally agree.
I mean, there's no reason when you get in the red zone you should not give him the ball, because if there's a harder player to tackle, show him to me. because I don't see anybody else who's that. I mean, I don't know what it is. He's obviously big and fast and strong, but I mean, people just bounce off of him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Brock Bowers. Hopefully, Mike Bobo will become a bigger fan of Brock Bowers and give him the ball more.
I hope so. Well, Russ,
But
thank you for joining me today. Glad we got this in.
an honor.